Alrighty, well, welcome back, guys, to episode 69.2, our second parter of the trip recap. And we knew this was going to happen. We even talked about it. We're going to probably have to split this one up. So let's jump into Friday. Another curveball was thrown at me. So I started off, I went to go get coffee, 7-Eleven, went on my way back to check out the blackjack tables, and ran into Tristan. So as I ran into Tristan, I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to check out, but if you're going to be downtown at all, I'd love for you to come out and hang out some more. Let's do it. And he was like, all right, we'll see if we can make it happen. No problem. Well, Tristan also showed us the video, like I told you. Awesome video. Took with us for the podcast here. Again, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I was getting ready to check out, babe. Got the car packed. Everything's in the car.
And what happened?
I go start the car. Click.
Didn't start.
It didn't start. Battery's dead. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, okay, so I call Tristan up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting ready to get on the blackjack table. I was like, can you give me a jump real quick? My car battery's dead. He's like, yeah. So he came over. Initially, my plan Friday morning was to go hit the buffets, check out Rio, and then I had Omega Mart booked. I already had the ticket paid for, so I had Omega Mart at 12:40. So I said, hey, just give me a jump real quick. And so it's funny because we even started talking. We're like, so what do you think? Should I go to like Walmart real quick, or should I just get a jump from somebody at Omega Mart later? He's like, just get a jump from somebody at Omega. That's what I was thinking. So I headed to Omega Mart, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go that way. As I was driving, I noticed like in certain spots of driving around, and that's what was cool about this trip. I've noticed different areas like 24-hour tire shops, 24-hour window tinting, battery shops. And I'm like, just happen to look to the left, boom. I think it was Shelton or Sheraton batteries. I was like, perfect. Stop there. New battery, in and out, $100. Again, money didn't go to gambling, right? So I was like, hey, perfect. I even forgot about that. So $100 there, new battery taken care of. Perfect. So I decided I'm still a little bit early. I'm going to head over to Omega Mart. So I knew initially I wanted to be early, get myself set up, cameras, everything ready to go. So I get in. I don't see an Omega Mart store when I pull up. I just noticed a big warehouse. So upon arrival, I didn't realize Omega Mart is inside Area 15. Okay, eye-opener. So I walk in, security's like, hey, just go straight in, no problem. You got your ticket, scanned it. Getting ready to go inside. And I'm getting ready. So one security's like, hey, you can't bring that gimbal and stuff inside. I was like, actually, I just talked to a couple security. They said it was cool, so, let's make sure we're good. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Very respectful. They brought a manager out. Her name was Kelly. She was like, hey, what are you what are you doing? What are you recording for? And I told her what we do here on the podcast and the different businesses we go around and check out. And she's like, oh, I like it. I like it a lot. You're good. Don't worry about it. So again, thank you, Kelly. The customer service. I mean, a big part of it is, just letting them know what our intent is. Hey, and now to see other casinos are like, hey, YouTubers, welcome. Come on, Palace Station, all these other ones, Stations, casinos. It's like, okay.
It's a win-win. I think,
really is.
I mean, nobody's trying to, in today's day and age, I don't think a lot of people can, scam a slot machine or whatever they do. You know what I mean? Like, in technology, there's so many eyes in the skies at casinos. I feel like it's safe overall. So they're not thinking we're not trying to do something deceptive.
Yeah. No, yeah. I hear you 100%.
Say deceitful.
Oh, yeah. So this place overall, Omega Mart, $50 ticket, right? And I know a lot of people are like, damn, that's kind of steep.
I was. When you said, I said, you got to pay to get in?
Yeah.
Like, what is this going about?
So covering Area 15 is free. You do have to book your ticket in advance. It's free through an app. And again, the admission's free. You're just reserving a spot so that you don't overcrowd the place because of COVID, right? So same thing with Omega Mart. That's why they're doing reservations. So if you do plan to do it a couple days early. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead, check this place out. Nuts. Hard to even explain and wrap my mind around.
You said you were there, 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
I was there almost 4. Okay. I was there almost 4.
And
still didn't see it all.
He still could have been there longer.
Yeah. Well, and this place is in my mind, the way I keep thinking about it, it's like not a treasure hunt, but it's like a mystery. You're trying to solve a mystery this whole time. And a lot of it that goes in, I caught part of it. A lot of it is corporate greed and how it all works. And so throughout the store and throughout the video, which I'll put up later, you guys will see people actually sitting down at desk, reading all the paperwork, trying to unlock the clues and stuff to uncover the mystery. And throughout the store is items that, you know, that don't make sense, like cube the peas and just weird stuff, off the wall stuff. And so some of the employees there are like really in on it. You talk to them, you have questions, and they're like, oh, there's spiels for everything. Oh, there's sales pitches for everything. Right. Oh, you got to try this and this. And so like I was asking, what's some of the newer products and some of the newer things that are worth checking out that you would recommend me looking at? And they're like, oh, well, check this out. This is called the fashion rat. I'm like, what's a fashion rat? And so it's like a toy rat, and it's got hair, and you can comb the hair, clip the nails. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, just off the wall stuff. But it gets better because as I'm walking around recording, I see like a tent. They got like an outdoors part. So they got like a built up tent, and like people are inside the tent. Well, then they go in like this hole, and then they just disappear. I'm like, what the hell? And then as I'm walking over to the right, boom, I see a kid walk in a freezer. I'm like, what the hell? And then boom, right after that, 2 people walk out of a fridge. I'm like, there's something going on here. Then people are heading in the back garden. There's all kinds of... So I go back there, and I can't take the gimbal. So they're like, oh, I'll hold that for you. No problem. I go back there. Babe, the weirdest stuff is in the back. Like, this whole place is literally changing colors. It's like a theater, and everything is inside just going nuts. There's a back part with like a bunch of slides and stuff, and then more offices where you're trying to uncover clues and stuff, and just the weirdest stuff. And you can get lost in there for hours.
And when you're telling me the story, like I immediately, when you're like, you kind of go down this rabbit hole, I think of Alice in Wonderland, how it's just a whole different world of things that don't make sense. And but I mean, intriguing. And you wouldn't think, like literally when you said, I'm going to Omega Mart, this, you know, has weird stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm thinking like The Simpsons for some reason. Okay. Omega Mart. Okay. I'm thinking like just... You know, a themed store to buy things. So when he was like, you have to pay $50 to get in, I was like, for what? To go buy shit? You know, like, so it was weird.
It's all a weird gimmick. Like, it really is. So there's some stuff that you can buy. And we did. I bought a bunch of other stuff for a future video for us to make of us trying a lot of their products. So I have drinks, I have food, I have candies, I have different stuff for us to try. But there's weird stuff like their meat section. This is an example. So they got like chicken, whole chicken, tattooed whole chicken. It's called tattooed chicken. So like they have these weird products like pierced potatoes, and they have like a piercing through the potato. Just weird stuff throughout the store where you're like, really? So, I mean, just worth checking out. Again, when we go back, we're going to see it like...
But you said, I mean, the price tag is pretty significant, $50. But you said it was worth it.
Oh, right? Well worth it. Especially me. You guys know I'm a casino person. I like checking out places like that. But this was just something off the wall, totally different. Again, not overspending. Again, if you're going to buy
kids were $30, you said. For
the kids and the locals were $30, is a little cheaper. But, I mean, general admission's $50. And you can get your money's worth. I mean, you're going to stay busy in this place. And, like, some of the cool things that went on is the lights of the store would start flickering, like they're gonna have a blackout and stuff, and then like at random points, instead of the lights going out, everything would start flashing product, and it just goes crazy, right? Or they start a countdown, 5, 4, and then at 1 they tell you pose, and so you pose, and everybody in the store's posing, right? And then a big picture comes up, and everybody sees them. Like, it's really neat, like a really different dynamic. Obviously, you wouldn't think you're in a store, but you wouldn't realize how much time you're spending there while you're there, because you're just trying to check it all out.
So many off-the-wall things that you're like, what is this?
It's not normal, So, and it's really fun because you're like, you're laughing the whole time. You're like, are you serious? What is? It's like 1 a year pill, a pill you take once a year, like just weird stuff. Salted peanuts with no peanuts. Yeah, salted peanuts with no, so it was only salt in the jar. Like just weird stuff, but like funny, right? So we got some stuff for a future video. That'll be a lot of fun to put together. But I knew I was already pushing time being at this place. And again, just between being in Omega Mart and going out into Area 15 and seeing everything that's around, like I regret us not taking the kids the last time, because there's so much. There's arcades. There's so much stuff all around that's on top of Omega Mart. You know what I mean? So again, there's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's all kinds of different stuff to just go and spend the day if you wanted. So I was like, man, that place is worth checking out. If you guys have nothing to do one day, take a couple hours, Go check this place out.
Take a few hours.
Well, yeah, and then let me know what's the wildest thing you did see, because even some people I was talking to, they were saying their phones weren't working, like just weird things were happening. And you see things happening in the store where you're like,
huh,
are these people a part of the store? Like when they walk into certain things, or they'll pull like the root of a carrot all the way out. Like it just weird things happen and you're like, what the hell? Like it's so much fun though. Like, and you guys will be able to see from all these videos I'm showing you over us talking, like it's worth checking out. I mean, the employees, one of the ladies I was talking, her name was April. I'm like, hey, show me some of your favorite. I mean, it's just ecstatic, running around, jumping around. Show me this. I mean, just super fun. So again, guys, I recommend checking it out. I can't wait to try some of this stuff. Kelly does leave this weekend, so when she gets back, I'm like, babe, we got to do this stuff. I mean,
doing Georgia this weekend,
yes.
Going to see the baby girl for Easter.
Yes, so that should be a lot of fun. Watch softball too. You should have a blast this weekend. So I knew I was cutting time. I knew I was pushing it. I knew I still had a couple interviews later on in the day. I knew I still had to go back and meet up with Jake Gallen from the Guest List podcast. I was supposed to meet him at around check-in time at Plaza. So I was going to go put my stuff up, meet him. We were going to go get something to eat. We didn't know where. So he was like, hey, where do you want to go? I was like, oh, whatever. So he was like, I don't care either. So we started walking when we met. We started chatting. Dude's down to earth, babe. I mean, what was cool is like how much we started talking about podcasting. He's like, isn't it weird that you could just talk and, you know, people like listen and they come out and they know who you... I was like, dude, it's the wildest thing. You can't even get me started, right? But so then he tells me as we're walking down Fremont, he's like, hey, Jay, so have you ever been to a ghost kitchen? What's a ghost kitchen, man? He's like, a ghost kitchen. I was like, no, I don't know what that is. He's like, okay, picture this. Picture 7 different chefs working in one kitchen. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, they all do their own specialty and you can order any one of their items off their menu. I'm like, you're kidding, right? He's like, no. I go, let's go. I'm game.
Yeah.
This
Especially
place,
you being a chef.
yes.
Like, that's right up your alley.
So apparently this place opened in January. This place is called the Vegas Test Kitchen. Okay, so like these chefs are testing their skills, right? Seeing what works, seeing what, you know, what's going to pick up and what works for them. So Jake's been there 4 times within the last month. Like he's been going often. He knows the food. He's like, dude, this place is legit. So as soon as we sat down, he's like, hey, I know the owner here. I've been here a few times. They're really nice, down to earth. Hopefully, you know, if she's here, I'll introduce you. Oh yeah, no problem. So we start talking and we order. And it was simple. I mean, we check everything on our phone. There's no actual menu. Just scan the QR code, check everything on your phone, whatever you want, you order. So he's like, hey, I'm going to order the pizza. I know it's bomb. It's pizza that's made with like 120-year-old dough. Like they pay attention to detail. This shit's good. You're going to love it. I was like, all right, I'll order something else and we can share both, you know, try them both. He's like, all right. And that's what I thought that's another side note. We're new and shit, and we're still sharing food. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about this stuff, right? So that's not an issue, and I love that. So I order what was a banh mi sandwich, and it was phenomenal. I'll show you guys pictures of everything here. So I ordered a banh mi sandwich and an order of egg rolls, right? So everything looked killer. We start digging into the pizza. One of the best pizzas I've ever had in Las Vegas. This place is legit, guys.
And we've tried a few pizzas, and we think some of those are really good. It's so
fresh. The crust, I mean, just fluffy.
I'm interested to try.
This place off the wall. And I swear, this place is just a hidden gem. And as we're sitting there eating, I'm taking pictures of everything. I got my lights out and stuff. And who comes around the corner? The owner. She starts saying, oh, well, who are you? And she sees Jake. Oh, Jake. And so they start talking. And he's like, oh, well, he does a podcast. And he does a lot of different stuff for social media. And so, of course, she starts talking, right? Oh, so let me know a little about what you do. And so I tell her. And so I was like, yeah, can you tell me a little bit about what you guys do here? Oh, yeah. I was like, I'd love to share it for the show and kind of share what you guys are doing. And
nice.
Basically a rundown of this place, babe. These chefs were cooking in their homes 2-3 months ago, selling food out of their houses.
Because they got furloughed, right?
Yeah, and she was like, you know what? I had the building. I was doing nothing with it. I figured, why not use the kitchen? Let them come in and do their craft. And a lot of the people who come in here and end up cooking here, end up moving on to casinos or opening up
Right.
their own kitchens and stuff. She's like, it's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
She's like, the space is being utilized. People come here and they get to have a new meal every night. She's
Right.
like, it's the best idea I could have came up with.
Right,
And
it's amazing.
She's really big in the culinary industry in Vegas and very, very nice. So I'm excited to get you down there because this place is legit off the wall good.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is this the place that you tried pho for the first time?
Okay, stop. So that gets even better. So then after meeting her, I'm sitting there, we're eating. We just get into the pizza because we're still talking, right? And even Jake's like, Jay, eat this stuff. You got to eat, man. We're talking. I'm like, all right. So we move on to the sandwich, split up the sandwich. This lady comes out and gives us 2 fortune cookies, right? And we didn't even really order anything but egg rolls, So we're like, oh, thank you so much. She's like, how is everything? We're like, freaking delicious, right? And so she notices the pictures and stuff. And she's like, so who are you? Start telling her. And she's like, so where are you from? And I go, oh, California. And she's like, oh. She's like, so have you ever had... Well, initially she was like, have you ever had pho? I was like, pho? No. I was like, what? Why? And she was like, oh, well, that's what I do, but I do a different version. It's a northern Vietnamese style. It's a different type of noodle. And I was like, really? She was trying to explain it, and she's like, well, I'm going to just show you. So she comes over 5-10 minutes later. Beautiful dish. I'll show you guys right here. I mean, everything's immaculate. The pho was, just phenomenal. I was like, are you serious? And so she was telling me basically instead of a noodle that's like a ramen style stringy noodle, she uses what would be like a flat style noodle that would be considered, like a lasagna style noodle. And she uses that in her pho. So good.
So is it called pho or pho?
I don't know, but it's delicious.
Either way, it was great, right?
Good. So one thing that was really cool is she put, she made like this donut style thing. It looked like a churro, right? But there was no sugar. It was just like a bread. So the bread, she's like, hey, that I want you to dip in the juice. Oh. And so I dipped it in the juice, and when I bit into it, it literally just dissolved, right? Oh. I was like, that is so good. And she's like, right? And so she kept telling me, you better eat it hot. Don't eat none of that other stuff. You eat my food first, right? And so I was like, okay. So I started digging in. Jake's over here laughing at me. He's like, dude, you got the hookup. Like, what the hell? I was like, isn't that so cool? And so she came over, and she's like, I just wanted to make sure you're taken care of. She's like, everybody calls me mama here. She came over. She's like, I wanted to make sure you tried something you've never got to try. I was like, you don't even know me, And she's like, listen, whether it's you or anybody else that comes in hungry, I'm going to feed them. She's like, and if you tell me you've never had something that I can do, the least I could do is do it for you.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
awesome.
How sweet. Yeah, so again, I will tag her in all of the show notes and stuff. So again, over at the Vegas Test Kitchen, guys, go check this place out. That's 2 right there I've given you just this episode. Yeah. Omega Mart and the Vegas Test Kitchen. Oh my God. Blew my trip out of my mind because I didn't expect this, right? Right. So now we already got an interview, and I got another meal that we didn't expect from Chef Christina, which she wants us to say Chef Mama. Yeah. Just awesome food, right? And now we're like sitting there, and I realize I still have another interview afterwards. I still have to sit down with Russell, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. So it's funny because Jake, me started talking a little bit about Bitcoin. Then also, me and Russ started talking a little bit about Bitcoin. So I just randomly asked Jake while we're eating, have you ever met Russ? He's like, no, dude, we message each other like every day all the time on Twitter, but we've never met. And this happened multiple times where people have told me, listen, it took you to get us to meet, or like I was telling Saul things that had happened in Vegas recently, and he's like, Jay, how do you even know all this stuff, dude? Like
I live here. I live here and I don't know this
Even
stuff.
The dealers are like, hey, you guys are locals, right? And I'm like, no, I'm from California. They're like, you look more of a local than he does. And I was like, we just started laughing. But I thought that was funny because that seemed to be the theme of this trip is the curveballs thrown at me. Because I didn't expect, the Vegas Test Kitchen to be so great. And then, Jake was already hella cool.
Well, that wasn't even on your itinerary.
No, not at all.
And nor had you ever heard of it.
Babe.
So,
So let's talk a little bit about Jake real quick. This dude was so down to earth. Okay, you guys check this out. So this guy's born and raised in Las Vegas. Okay, went to school UNLV. Worked in the nightclub industry for 10 years. So this guy has some wild stories when it comes to working in the nightclub industry, how it all works, how on you they are about every little thing that you do in this business, and how crazy, you have to be about everything in that industry. And we sat down, me, him, and Russ, for like an hour and a half, and had a whole separate chat about, Vegas, the school systems, working in the industries and the nightclub scene. And some of these stories you're going to hear, you're going to lose your mind and think, no way. But it's all true. He's like, dude, you see people come and go in this industry, there's only a certain amount of people that are still doing it. But literally, it's day after day that you knew people, like, the process to get into that industry, he tells us, it's just mind-blowing. I'm like, are you kidding? And it is. It's all, like, model-based jobs, right? So, like, it's really an interesting listen, guys. Like, that one's going to be a special listen for you guys coming out this week, too. So much stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys. No joke. So, after sitting there chatting with them boys, we had a good time. We went up to the Plaza room, recorded for like an hour and a half. And then we got a call from Tristan. Said he was coming to hang out downtown. So we're like, dude, let's do it. So Tristan wanted to jump on his machine again over at Circa, right? He wanted to head over to Circa. So we're like, yeah, let's head over to Circa. So we get over to Circa, and immediately as we're standing there, Tristan's playing. We're sitting there BSing. We notice a guy leaving, a group of guys leaving, and this guy's like, hey guys, here's some drink tickets, right? Gives us like 5 drink tickets. So we're like, all right, let's go use them. We head down to the bar. We see who was it? We saw another celebrity. I don't remember who it was. And then we saw also Richard Wilk was down there. We said hi to Richard and then hung out at the bar. But some funny stories happened at the bartenders because they're so wild, right? Circa bartenders are the best, right? And from some of these videos that I'll show you, they're just a blast. They always have fun. They're always throwing the drinks around. So we're talking, and I hear, and I thought the guy next to me hit the bartender. And I look back, and the bartender smacked himself on his forehead so hard and loud that he made a $20 tip stick to his forehead. So he's yelling, $20 tip at the bar, baby. Woo! And he's got the $20 on his head, babe, screaming. 2 minutes later after that, the next bartender over, he's all, yo, I just made three drinks and made $28 tip. Let's go. And all the bartenders. So it's just, we're sitting there cracking up, watching all this foot traffic. Because it's so busy. It's stupid busy. And we're even talking like, man, what a weekend. Like, this has been nuts. It's been crazy in Vegas. And it was a lot of fun to witness because, again, seeing Vegas open up and seeing these businesses struggle, like, oh, man, we're not ready for it. Like, it's really cool to hear them have that problem because it's a good problem to have, right? So that was very fun to witness all week. So we sat there, hung out for a couple hours, chatted, had some good conversations with Russ about more Bitcoin and stuff, which that guy, he's man, that guy knows a lot, man. He's just a very fun dude. And again, to see him post the next couple of days, hanging out with Vegas Confessions and meeting Jake, and to see him enjoy that and be like, these are some of my favorite podcasts I listen to, and finally meeting the host, like, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad these people can meet and connect, right? Like, that's what it's about. That's what I like seeing in, like, the YouTube comments, you guys commenting with each other's stuff. Like, that's what's cool. And a lot of these viewers know each other. Like, a lot of you guys know each other. So just like you guys watch me, I watch the same people you watch, right? So that's why we do this. So I was there till about 2, 3, then passed out a couple hours later, finished up some vlogs and stuff up at the room, and then called it a night. Next morning, woke up Saturday, figured I wanted to go get some coffee, went down to McDonald's, and before, I was still running early on time, so before I headed over to Mandalay Bay to ride the tram, I decided to visit another dispensary called Planet 13. And in this one, I did get some audio and for you guys to know a little bit of the process and the check-in and stuff, which was, again, super easy, a lot of security, a lot of people, but this place was so big that you didn't even notice, so many different check-in lines and stuff like that you were in and out, no problem. Very helpful. The guy that helped me, his name was Trey. Very nice dude. He was, again, working across the street at another dispensary. And so when I told him, oh, yeah, I do a podcast all about He's like, dude, I want your podcast. Like, I listen to, and if it's about Vegas, like, I'm in. So he should be listening. Super cool dude. And again, I just went in for pre-rolls because I spent a lot of money the first round. But one thing that I noticed is, again, the QR codes everywhere, which made it easy.
Right.
But on the way out of the place, I took a right instead of going left and going straight out. And I noticed a factory and a lab. This place had an actual factory and a lab where they extract the concentrates from the marijuana, and they also make like the candies and chocolates and it. So there was a guy actually sitting there making candy, and I was recording video, and I'll show you guys. This guy has everything tumbling in a big pot of sugar, and he's just tossing the candies in there, setting them up on trays, and like, how neat. Like, because that's baffling to me, because like, that's the illegal part, right? The extraction. So for them to be like, oh yeah, it's right here, right in front of you, you know, like, only in Vegas, baby.
Right.
So I thought that was neat. That was fun. Part of the cool thing that I noticed about that place is on my way out, the floor, it was like a big screen. And so like, there was fish and like a whole undersea. And when you walked on it, it left like a trail, like you were walking on water. Cool. Yeah, it was really cool. I got a video of that one too, but it was a really neat setup, and again, just easy, in and out, less than 20 minutes. So then I decided to head over to Mandalay, and I was already early because I knew they started at 2, the tram rides, and there was a lot of people like, no, it's not going today because everything was roped off and closed off, right? So I was early. I decided, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and walk through the Mandalay Bay, record a casino walkthrough and get footage of everything. So I got another one of those videos for you guys, and that'll be coming up soon. But eventually jumped on the tram as we were waiting, got on the tram, went back and forth, and did a little video for social media. Some of you guys saw that already. But yes, the tram is open at Mandalay Bay. Right now it's only weekends, 2 to 10. So it goes to Luxor and Excalibur and right back. So I never knew about it. I'd never ridden it. But if you're staying at Mandalay Bay, that's an easy ride over to Excalibur. And then you're on the main strip properties, New York and all that. Right. So I thought that was a pretty good tip. Use that thing if you're in Mandalay Bay. Right. So this is where it starts to get really interesting. So from there, I left back to the Plaza because I had a 3:00 interview with my buddy Mike from VIP Sports, and I had to chat with him, and that was a fun chat. I'm looking forward to hopefully more opportunities in the future. And then after that, I had another interview with our buddies, Aquarius and Joseph, the host over at the Plaza. Man, that was a blast. I got some good stories, babe, that you aren't even going to imagine or believe, you know. Aquarius is starting the industry. Joseph started the industry to where they're at now, the people and connections. And again, that's why we brought them on, because they're just genuine, right? And I told them when I did the interview, hey, guys, you know I'm going to get shit from the ladies because they're going to tell me, hey, why ain't I on the podcast? So I told them,
next time.
Yeah, and I told the ladies, hey, I'm just waiting for Callie. That way we all do this together. You know, I don't want to leave her out with you guys. So they're like, okay, you better. We're watching. So, yeah, but a great conversation and interview with the guys up at Oscars afterwards. Like, hey, we know you've been on the go all day. Are you hungry? Have you eaten? I was like, I haven't eaten, but, you know, I do have to run around. They're like, well, let us make you an Oscars burger. I hadn't told them, but I had been wanting to try that burger.
Right.
Delicious. Delicious. That burger.
And the last time we were there.
Yeah.
We were talking to Jonathan, and he was like, you've done all these interviews at, you know, pop-up kitchen or pop-up pizza and things like that, and why not Oscars? And I'm like, I'm not really a steak person, you know, Jonathan. He's like, we have burgers. Yeah. We have really, really good burgers. And I was all, maybe. Yeah. And then we never ended up going. Right. And then, so when you said you had the burger, I'm like, so is it good as Jonathan said? He's like, hell yeah, it was.
Hell yeah, it was.
Great.
It was good.
And I was like, ah.
So here's the kicker, though. So as I was communicating with the guys and telling them I'm on my way down, Aquarius, me and him were messaging back and forth through Facebook Messenger, right? And so he was like, okay, we're here at Oscars. I'm like, I'm on my way. I didn't check my phone after that point. Apparently after that, he had messaged me. He's like, oh, well, Jonathan will come to say hi on the show while we're recording.
But you never saw that
I didn't see that part, right? So we're sitting there and we're recording, and Jonathan comes out. He says hi, and, you know, and I notice he sits behind us and he's still watching us, you know, record and watching me do the interview. And so we're done and everything, and Jonathan's like, hey, Jay, can I tell you something? I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I think it's really cool. You know, no notes or anything like that. I was like, nah, man, I've been kind of doing it all week on the fly, you know. And these guys, you know, I kind of know what I wanted to ask them and stuff. And he's like, it was really cool to just see how you do it. You know, you do it a little differently. Like, you know, this is where we record our podcast. So it was nice to see you come in and do your thing. I was like, oh, so you make it look really easy. I was like, it's fun, man. I got to just keep it fun, right? So, and he's like, also, why didn't you tell me you're coming to town? I was like, I told you I was coming to town. I told you two things. I was coming to steal masks and I was coming to steal pens. And he's like, no. Usually you text me on your way out. I was like, no, I know, but still. He's all, I got something for you. And so he hands me something, babe. And I'm like, what is this? And so I thought it was, it looked like a canvas to painting. And I thought maybe it was one of those Plaza paintings. I'm like, oh, that would be cool, right, for the office. I was like, oh, is that a painting, a Plaza painting? He's like, no, Aquarius can get you one of those. I was like, oh, shit, no pressure, right? And so I started laughing. He's like, this one I think you're going to enjoy. He's like, but if you don't want it, we can throw it away. It's no biggie. We'll throw it away right now if you don't want it. And so I was like, well, what is it? And so he opens it up, babe. And what I call you and tell you was...
He could not believe it.
Could not believe it.
It was amazing.
I'll show you guys.
And he might show you the picture. I had him roll it out when he got home and I laid on it.
Yeah.
But it is the felt from the Plaza craps table.
Yeah.
They got new felts and this is the old felt. I mean, like, it was amazing. I was like dumbfounded. I was like, this is awesome. Like tear.
Yeah.
Like, because that truly means a lot to him. But I mean, that's just an awesome sentiment of what great people are at the Plaza. You know, I mean,
well, and that's,
head to toe, A to Z, like I said before, it's just...
So I was already messaging back and forth with Scott, right? Because I was going to see if we were going to meet up at 8 East and do some of his favorite dish. And so he was getting caught up on time, and I told him, all right, well, I'm planning to run around, so, you know, if you're not going to make it, I'm going to head out. And he's like, hey, Jay, I go, by the way, look at what Jonathan fucking gave me, dude. And I sent him the picture, and he's like, Jay, he's on number one. He's if anybody deserves that, like, that's you. He's like, and then number two, he's isn't that dude just super thoughtful? I go, yeah, that's just the best way to sum him up. Like, that's just super.
Yeah.
I didn't ask. I didn't know, like, he apparently didn't know I was coming to town either. So, I mean, it just makes it more cool, guys. Yeah. I mean, you guys see the picture. I can't say enough cool things about the guy. I tell you guys every time I go out there. And it's not to kiss ass. It's not to you nothing. Like, literally, we told you guys, I didn't gamble at all this trip, really. I gambled maybe a total of $300.
He felt so bad. Like,
I didn't have no time.
He took his house gift card and he's like, I am so sorry. Yeah. Like, and they're like, no, we know that this was, you know, you're doing all these interviews and doing all this stuff.
Well, and that's what was nice, and especially,
and usually if I go, I cover all of it. Don't matter if he gambles or not.
She's gonna play, right.
But I didn't get to go
this trip. But this trip, I didn't have no time to the casinos, really. I mean, they knew I was out interviewing people. I was running around doing stuff for the show. So it was not like, you know, I was just there to take the free rooms and stuff. But I did feel bad. So the last morning, I did go get some gift cards for Nicole just to say thank you for the rooms. Like, I appreciate it. I know I didn't get to play, and even one of the other hosts were like, hey, we know you've been busy, you're on the go, like, we totally understand. And like, that's customer service, right? It's not, hey, we need your money.
Right.
Hey, we understand you're here, you got things going on, you know.
They know we're loyal.
And I think they understand that, hey, it's not for, especially for like people like me, it's not just coming out to gamble. Like, there's more to it for me. There's
coming out to see family.
Yeah,
coming out to home away from home.
Yeah, so I thought that was really neat on their part. After that point, I'm literally like, damn, in shock, right? I got a craps foul. I've met Dana White this trip. And so, you know, there's a point where I'm like, all right, I still got to do some stuff and run around. I still had a little time before I had to go casino hopping, which I really always plan. I tell you all the time, like, hey, babe, we should get a rental. Or if I go on a trip by myself, I want to get a rental and just hit all these different spots, right? Local spots. And you're always like, nah. And I joked with a couple people this trip. They're like, hey, Jay, how come you haven't done this before? And I'm like, because, let's be honest, every time we're together at the casino and we're at Plaza and we're like, hey, babe.
I just start playing.
Well, no, and I'm like, babe, you want to go check out a new place like Joker's Wild? You're like, but we're here at Plaza. You're right, all right. I'm going to go play blackjack. I'll see you in a little bit, right? And that's always how it ends, right? Yeah. And we never do it. So this trip, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it a point. But first, I wanted to go hit up the Chris Angel studio for the sale that they had going on. So I went out there to go see what they had available still, and, you know, if it was busy or not and whatnot. So I went over, and babe, I'm looking at stuff, and there's still a lot of stuff, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was really neat to see, like, actual professional theater equipment and, like, all his actual set stuff, right? So I was like, wow. So there was, like, 2 brothers of his that kind of looked like him, long hair and everything. Well, they start, anything you're interested in, let me know. We'll get you a price, and we'll take care of it, get you checked out, no problem. Okay. So I was like, all right, well, I'll look at some cheap stuff. So this guy right here was actually on his set for his magic show. And then these guys were on the set as well. They're on the set as well. They are picture frames. So my goal was to get a picture with Chris Angel to put in there. Yeah, it's a real, it's got the details, all his emblems and stuff like that. So again, 20 and 20. I thought, hey, why not? It'd be something cool to have in the office, right? Well, as I'm getting ready to pay for everything and check out, the guy comes from behind and he's like, hey, you finding everything okay, bud? I'm like, yeah, no, I got everything. I'm just paying up right now. And I turn around. Fucking Chris Angel. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, oh. And he knew right off the bat, like, you know? And I'm like, oh. I go, can I just say how cool it is that you're just inviting people in here to check out your stuff, dude? He's all, dude, this is like 30, 40 years accumulation of stuff. I'm trying to get rid of this. Like, I'm glad you're here. I was like, really? He's like, dude, I think it's, you know, it's an opportunity to just help us too get rid of stuff and obviously bring new stuff in for like the new shows and stuff. I was like, cool, because I was starting to think you were done, you know, retiring. He's like, oh no, we're just getting started, baby. Like, he was so fun and chill to talk to. I was like, dude, this is really neat. And I didn't want to ask for pictures because I think there was another celebrity in the back. She kind of looked like, she had the style of Pink, short hair. Like, she had that, I didn't know, but she was there. So, and they asked everybody, no pictures, no nothing, like absolutely nothing. So I didn't bother asking. But as I'm checking out and everything, and I told him, hey, this is really neat and stuff, told him what I do, and he's like, oh, well, you should talk to my brother. My brother's JD. He does a lot of radio and stuff. And so I started talking to his brother, and his brother's like, yeah, I run multiple radio networks. Like, this is the kind of stuff we're trying to bring to Vegas. We like these kind of interviews. We like meeting people, going around talking to businesses and stuff. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we're trying to bring and start a new channel here in Vegas. And, you know, we need people just like you and what you do and the people you kind of talk to. I was like, dude, I do this for fun anyway. Like, this is what I do on my YouTube channel. This is kind of the stuff I love to do anyway. So, you know, he's like, oh, we'll be in talk. So there's been people from like New York calling and shit. And I'm like, I'm just a regular dude, man. Yeah, I'm just here to have fun, you know? And so they find it fascinating that, you know, we go out there and we talk to people, which I think is really cool. So hopefully that turns into something down the road. Right. So then immediately I dart back to Plaza because I know I have to get stuff charged because I want to make sure I go casino hopping and I have camera footage and everything, right? So as I head back, I noticed that there's a wedding going on there at Plaza. Which was really nice. A lot of people, a wedding going on. I didn't know that they did the weddings there, but yeah, right there by Oscar's Steakhouse on the second floor. Really? Yeah, a lot of people there, yeah. After that, I decided it was time to roll. So the first stop I was going to do is I was going to head towards the Strip to kind of get footage of how busy it was, right? And then, you know, I thought, as I got there, it took me almost 40 minutes to get from downtown to the Strip just because everything's one lane right now. And I knew better than to go that. I knew better, but
because we did that in October.
I knew better. But back in my mind, I didn't want to get lost, right? So I screwed myself. So I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna stop at the Strip. I'm just gonna roll through, get footage, and then I'm going to Rio. So I'd never been to Rio. Went to go check that place out. Really dark.
And during COVID, it was closed for quite a while.
Right, and they just opened it. Yeah, they just opened it. And then now they're supposed to be getting a facelift from Hyatt. So that's new. Right. And, you know, that's the talk of the town right now, Rio getting upgraded. But when I went over there, a lot of the lights were off. So, and I was kind of wondering why the lights to the building were off. Well, as I was running around casino hopping later, I noticed Scott threw up a tweet that said, it makes no sense for the lights to be off on the Strip an extra hour. So I guess the lights were on. And when I left Rio and was going to the Palace Station, the lights were on. So I was like, oh, shit. So now it was on. So, yeah, I guess that's a thing right now. They're trying to save a little power for an hour. So they're keeping the lights off a little longer. So, yeah, Rio, packed.
Really?
$25 tables, $15 craps. I mean, $25 craps.
Right.
$25 blackjack, but packed. I was like, damn. So from there, I decided I was heading over to another place we've never been to, which was Palace Station. This place was big, clean, beautiful.
You said you liked it. Yeah.
Really reminded me of like a...
Green Valley? Or no?
Well, yeah.
I really liked Green Valley when we were...
Yeah, I was going to say kind of like that, but kind of like a... Maybe... Nah, I can't even say like a Laughlin property, but busy. No. But like just it was just nice. Like a older theme, but nice. And so when I was heading that way, I told Alex, our buddy of the show, I was like, hey, I'm headed to Palace Station. He's all, Jay, they're one of the biggest baccarat places in town, you will notice. So they had like a stadium gaming of like 40 machines, all baccarat.
Oh, really?
No blackjack, no roulette on them, just all baccarat games. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so
that is
I
interesting.
thought of him immediately. And then he mentioned they have a really killer oyster bar in town, like one of the best. So as I'm walking around, and the whole time going through these different places, I'm trying to be sneaky, walk around before I get footage, right? To see my route on my way out. This place I wasn't getting footage.
No.
Because there's security everywhere. I mean, just nice place though. And then I noticed the line. There was a line along a wall. And I'm like, what is this line going to? So as I got around later, I got, I was getting hungry, so I decided to get something good to eat, which was a Coke and a donut. And as I'm eating my donut, I realized this line that I have been watching that's wrapping all the way through the casino is for this oyster bar. This oyster bar's got like 16 chairs. 4 chefs are in this kitchen, and they're cooking on the spot for you. So everybody else is just waiting in line for a spot at these 16 chairs.
Really?
This place was packed, babe. Packed. And it's got a reputation, and you wouldn't
I've never
believe,
had an oyster.
You wouldn't
it doesn't
believe.
look like...
And it wasn't all oyster. It was like all different meals, but like it's known for the oysters. But they had different varieties. It smelled good. It smelled really good. Yeah.
You ever had an oyster?
Yes. Yes. You wouldn't like it.
No.
Yes. It was good. I put a lot of lemon and hot sauce, and it was good to go.
I don't like slimy things.
So next spot, Joker's Wild. Joker's Wild. And we have heard stuff from our buddy Eric. Remember? Dollar craps.
Yeah.
Worth going and checking out. Blackjack. Well, the main reason for me going to this place was because I was curious if the tables were open. And they were not open. It was still all slots. But this place I couldn't get out of my mind because as soon as you walk in through the doors, there's this big makeshift slot machine. And it says, welcome to, Joker's Wild. And it looks like a big old school. It really reminded me of like a mini circus.
Okay.
Because of the clown theme.
Yeah.
But very cool. Like, even our buddy Eric messaged me the following day when I posted I went to that casino. He's like, so do they have table games yet? Because I'm ready to go back as soon as they got table games. I'm like, damn it. Like, yeah. I was like, that's why I went, man. No table games, but very fun. One of the comments I got from Twitter is like, dude, I really love that place. I went down there foolishly to go down there to their gift shop and get a t-shirt. I should have known better. Yeah, there's no gift shop. Yeah, I was cracking up. Like, some of the comments you guys give me are just hilarious, dude. After that, I stopped at another spot that was right down the road called Skyline Casino. Little spot. Same thing. I walked in there. This was only... They had 3 little blackjack tables set up and everything else was slots. It was like a slot hall. Yeah. And 1 blackjack dealer going, 1 pit boss, 1 table going. That was it. So what I did pull up a special I saw that was interesting from them is Skyline has a special all you can eat daily for $9.95, 11 to 9 p.m. Spaghetti, choice of Italian sausage or Italian meatball with garlic toast. So if you guys are in the area, want a hell of a deal for $10, all you can eat, I'm just saying. But yes, I was like, that's interesting. So that place, very small. And then from there, I went to an even smaller place, which was called Longhorn Casino. And I had heard of this place from, I think it was Jake. He was like, dude, if you want something with low ceilings where basically the ceiling fans might smack your head, you want to check this place out. And so sure enough, I went to this place, babe. real small. Literally, I walked in, one end here, one end here. If I even pulled my phone out, the security stall's right in the middle. I mean, you could not get anywhere without seeing the security guard. Like, it was that small. And again, just, it was neat seeing some of these different places. And there was a bunch of bikers and Raider fans over in the little bar area having a good time drinking up. So they saw me and they're like, hey, and they're just really nice guys. The bartender came over like, hey, what are you looking to drink? I'm like, no, I'm just actually just walking through. And I was like, you know what? A matter of fact, I just grabbed the soda and headed out. From there, right down the street, Sam's Town. This one was an eye-opener for me. Every time I went around a bend and I thought this thing was going to be done, it just kept going. The casino was so big. It's so old school, babe. It reminded me like a Laughlin property, but with people actually in it.
Right.
Like, this one was packed, and there was a couple points where I was roaming around getting pictures of stuff. And even going back to the Skyline Casino, I would show you guys some pictures of the sports book. I would show you guys this. Their sports book literally had TVs on stands all the way across the rooms. Remember I showed you that
saw that picture, yes.
So again, it's interesting the way some of these casinos run in town. But yeah, so Sam's Town, really big. And I got a little bit of footage walking through the place. I'll show you guys that one too. And then from there, beloved Jerry's Nugget. Had about an hour or two before, they closed the craps table. So I figured, hey, I want to go jump on some $3 craps. Went over. That is where I hit my first loss. I lost, I think it was $80. And then went to go get something to drink before heading back to Plaza.
Because he had a $10 count.
Yeah, I had $10 count. And it was so busy. Like, and that's one thing the lady, she was like, I'm by myself. She was so busy that just getting the table was going to be a pain in the ass. Right. So I was like, can I just get a fountain drink? And she's like, you have $10 crumbs. Like, just give me a fountain drink to go. Big one. That's all I want. So yeah, she's like, really? Like, yeah, I'm good. She's like, what about cheesecake? I'm like, no, just give me my fountain drink. I'm ready to go. Yeah, so I got the drink, headed out of there, went back to Plaza, put everything up, and then went down and took footage of the Brian Christopher slots area, which is really cool. Because, I mean, let's be honest, a YouTuber with, a slot area in a casino, that's pretty awesome.
Plaza does it good. Yeah,
and Plaza of all people to do it, that's pretty awesome. So then it was Sunday morning. Sunday morning, like we said earlier, I wanted to go get gift cards for our host because, again, I didn't really gamble this trip. So I just wanted to say, hey, thank you as a token of appreciation. And then from there came more spending money for souvenirs. And I started getting all kinds of shit. I walked out almost $100 less because I was buying bottle openers, magnets, beer coolers. I mean, you name it. Posters, gift cards, there's... What else is there? There's keychains.
Everything.
There's all kinds
of stuff in there.
We got all kinds of stuff. And this is all the stuff that, again, I put video. I have all that stuff. This is all the stuff we want to give back to you guys. Again, we're not a big channel. We don't plan to be, the biggest YouTubers, Vegas, all that. Are we going to have fun? Yes. Do we appreciate you guys watching? Yes. And one of the big things I did want to mention is the reason we're doing this. So when I got home from the trip, and we asked you guys, hey guys, seriously, just help us get over that hump of the watch hours. I got home from the trip and I looked at the watch hours and Callie was laying down and I was like, babe, we were at 4,125. You guys jumped us up 200 watch hours in a matter of days just within the trip happening. So, I mean, thank you guys. That means a lot. That's pushing the channel in the right direction where we need to go.
Another milestone.
Right, and as a token of appreciation, the least we can do is give back 99-cent items, $1, $2, $3 items. That's no big deal. Like, we can do more, if this thing grows and you guys really enjoy this kind of stuff, we'd love to start doing t-shirts. People have been asking about getting Vegas Confessions t-shirts. I'd love to bring those back, bring in hotel casino shirts and stuff like that too. So that'll all be fun. So we got a bunch of souvenirs, went back, dropped off the gift cards. And then I knew I had one last stop. And that was the 7 Magic Mountains. I wanted to check that out on the way home. So I did. I finally found it on the way there on Wednesday because I had never seen it. We've never seen it driving in. And as I was driving in, I was like, holy shit, there's the bright rocks right there. They repainted everything, so it's real noticeable. So I stopped there, got some video, took some footage and stuff. As I'm leaving and I get in the car, I notice I'm going like 60 on this frontage road, but as I look over to the right, the freeway towards LA is not moving. Is it south? Yeah, south is not moving. 15 south is not moving at all. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, all right, we're good. I'm still flying right here on this front road. Then I start slowing down. And I'm not even close to Terrible's yet. And I'm like, oh, I'm still 5 miles away, stuck in traffic, and we're not going nowhere.
And for us from Vegas to Fresno, it's roughly 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get home, honey?
Just under 12 hours. Yeah.
12 hours.
12 hours to get home.
Ugh.
And now, mind you guys, I already was pushing it on sleep between the trip and the day before because I stood up to like 3 putting the podcast out. So I was already pushing it. By the time I got home, I was shot. I was just like, you know what, I'm done. It was funny because I stopped in Baker on the way home, which, you know, took me 6 hours to get to Baker.
And I told you at that point, I'm like, maybe you should just stay.
You did.
I said, because traffic's that bad.
You did.
But you're a trucker and you just
I was like, you know what, I'm going
out.
home. Because I would hate to just go back and then, you know, have to do it all. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. But I think the funny thing is I stopped in Baker and I just took a little video, right? Took a little video and I shared a video on Twitter and like, I guess a news agency reached out to share it and I was like, yeah, sure, no problem, right?
Traffic.
And then between our social media people, they shared it. My phone was blowing up on the way home. I'm trying to drive and pay attention to my phone and I'm like, oh my God,
texting
man.
and driving.
Yeah, it was crazy. But overall, a wild trip. There's going to be so many stories and so many different episodes and topics I'm going to be coming and talking about once I get these episodes released.
Yeah, but we wanted to make sure we got this done because I leave for 5 days tomorrow to go to Georgia to see our daughter play some softball and spend Easter there. So we wanted to make sure we got these out so that he can start putting everything else together because there's so much content that he wants you guys to see.
There's so much stuff. I mean, if I'm going through a list off the top of my head, there's a trip vlog, there's casino walkthroughs, there's meeting celebrities in Vegas and what that was like, recording in my first kitchen in Las Vegas, the Plaza host interview, we got Omega Mart, we got the Virgin opening, the pros and cons that went with that, and the 7 Magic Mountain videos. There's just a lot of stuff we're going to be bringing to you guys. And then once I'm caught up with this, we're going to be talking about bringing in people for the interviews, some of the bigger YouTubers and stuff that I've been in works with. I'm looking forward to chatting with some of them because I did run into a bunch of YouTubers at the Virgin opening, like Turn It Up World and all these other folks. So there's so many folks that I'm interested chatting with. And again, I love recapping the trips. There's so many side stories and stuff I still yet to mention that I'll do for another show. But guys, again, if you love stuff like this, the crazy wild moments, the ups and downs in the trip, again, my car broke down. A friend was there to take care of me. The shitty long ride, you know, but was all better because, you know, the day before I got gifted a felt. And that felt we're probably going to be using here as a backdrop in the future. We got to move some things around. We're going to get it dry cleaned and stuff. So that'll be cool to have as a part of the office in here, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you guys are enjoying this, do us a favor. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are sharing the show on social media. Let people know about what we like to do because this is the fun we like to have. And again, keep an eye out for the vlog. The vlog is taking you basically every day, moment by moment. I'm taking you guys with me from the drive to the minute I leave, showing you everything I'm going through. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. Again, just appreciate the love, the outreach, the support for YouTube, everything. You guys, again, huge shout out and thank you to you guys for pushing us over that milestone. It means a lot. And until next time, guys, cheers.
Cheers.